Welcome back to round 4 of the DYS League. You're here listening to me, DB, and Kiona, as we see EMC Chimera go up against Budget Approved, our very own Dystopia, Budget Approved, in this round 4 clash. I am unbelievably excited to get into this one. It's our second casted stream of the DYS League. How are you doing, Keo?
Doing good. Honestly, very much looking forward to this one. This is going to be a pretty high intense game if history were to say anything about it, because these teams, even though Dystopia is budget approved, are kind of more so, I think, newer than EMC Chimera. Both teams have a very high quality aspect to both, not just in gameplay, but in the reputation that they hold as well. So it's going to be pretty good. I think, again, a bit like last time when we had our round 2 commentary, I don't really know which way this could go. I'm kind of hoping it does go maybe at least 4 maps this time. Just saying.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a pretty close set, though.
Yeah, so I mean, we're early enough in the tournament where any win changes the standings massively. So if we have a quick look at our leaderboard, I think if Budget Approved win this, they will go top. No questions asked. They will go first. But if EMC Chimera are able to get a 3-0 here, they will go joint first with Bliss Marauders. So this game, even though this is currently saying 4th and 5th, whoever wins this is likely to go up to the 1st or 2nd position in this leaderboard. So we're already seeing this sort of build up of who's going to make the top 4 playoff positions. We've only got 3 more rounds left after this is the final game of round 4. We've only got 3 more rounds left after this game, and those only the top 4 positions are going to jump into the playoffs. So there'll be a little bit of an announcement coming out tomorrow about the structure of the playoffs and some dates when you can stream, when you can tune in and listen to us chat about them. But also a quick announcement, a correction from last week. I said there was £100 prize pool. I was actually wrong. It is double that. It is a £200 prize pool. That is my bad for misreading. But yeah, so that is £200 up for grabs for the winning team. Only the winning team. It is an all or nothing league, this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to moving through those playoffs. But for today, we are here with Budget Approved versus Chimera. Let's have a look at our lineup, shall we?
Yeah, we shall indeed. Should also mention as well quickly that Budget Approved have only played 2 games so far, so they technically do have a better standing amongst the candidates. But we have Budget Approved's lineup, so we have Leaky, Wybronin, Best, Revenge, Lampy, Reno, Note, Mash, and Delta. So a very handy, basically 1 or 2 syllable entire entry across the line. Very diverse mix, very broad pool of heroes between them all. 9, probably I think basically like the highest roster.
One of the biggest rosters here.
Yeah. So pretty impressive lineup, and then
should we see who they're going to be? Who's actually going to be playing today?
The 5 main candidates that are will potentially be, at least for the starting lineup, for the starting 5. It's going to be Note and Wybronin on that DPS duo. Friend Tracer. That could be an interesting combo, I must say. Reno going to be the tank, and then with Lampy, the double L and double LY. That's not going to get confusing. Lampy and Leaky on the double support with Kiri and Baptiste. So pretty very diverse combination they have going from that starting 5. As you know, they have 4 substitutions in the bag if they so need it.
Yeah, if they walk out on that Kiri Bat ball, I will be unbelievably surprised. But let's meet who they will be going up against. So they are facing off EMC Chimera. So their original roster of Tonrikda, Shaq, so I have not read that name.
Psychoka!
Thank you very much. DBRX and ECAJ. But there is another signing since this has been made. Very recently, Octo has joined their lineup. But today it will be the 5 starting will be the ones coming up on your screen here, and that is as Kyo so thankfully corrected me. We're getting Tommy Kada, DBRX, ECAJ, Octo, and Shaq.
The one player that you weren't aware, the one player you weren't aware of how to say his name isn't there, so you're saved. Yeah. Again though, we are seeing already like, on the starting 5, Ton and Sha both having that Kiri Freya, both identical, but very different composition for DBRX, ECAJ, and Octo. So we might see 2 very different playstyles. We're potentially going to see a flurry of compositions coming out from these teams, considering their expertise. They have a vast character pool. So you never know. It could be... I think it could be a pretty tight match, especially since our first map, I think, in my opinion, is one of the most diverse maps in the game. Like, period. So we will, I think, have a look at our map poll for round 4. And this time, I'm going to get it right fully. It's going to be... it's going to be Samoa, followed by Nevada. And then you've got Suravasa, then you've got... trying to read the graphics is quite hard. Paraseo, and then New Queen Street, as I said before. Like, it's not New Junk City, and I will not get that confused. I think this sort of map poll, DB, I don't know, this seems like a very, very good pacing for a lot of dive.
Yeah, there's a lot of dive, but then we've also got, you've got the poke from Havana and then a lot of brawl from Suravasa. So hopefully we will see a variety of team comps coming in here.
Yeah, we will see. And of course, as per traditional Dystopia Summer Shootout, as I'm going to call it, fashion, we are going to have a ban from both teams. So there will be 1 ban before the map begins. Both teams cannot ban the same character twice throughout the course of the series. So we'll get those in. Who are you thinking is going to be our overall winner? Because I know these teams are very close currently.
Who do I think
You
will
got
take the
any
series?
peek? Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, there's a little bit of bias inside of me leaning towards budget approved. But to be honest, I've not seen either of these teams face up against each other anytime recently. I've also not seen much of Chimera. So obviously I've been fairly involved and I see budget approved play on a regular basis. Chimera, I don't know an awful amount about. But as we're talking there, we've got the bands up.
Yep.
Some interesting ones, both very meta-defining, I would say.
Weirdly enough, I think last time whenever we covered round 2, Orisa actually was, again, first ban for one of the teams. So there does seem to be this consistent trend that Orisa is just a menace to society and should be nerfed or taken out of the game. And then we have Baptiste from EMC Chimera. So I think that's a pretty good ban considering Lampy is definitely a BAP extraordinaire, I think.
Well, it's definitely his most
comfortable.
It's definitely his most comfortable, and definitely the one that you can see him flourish on a lot. When I've seen him playing in the past, yeah, that is the one where you go, okay, this is where he feels comfort. This is where his skill is clearly his time has been put into.
Yeah, but we are going to have Samoa first map. This is going to be a great series. Let's see how this goes down. We have five. Will we see the identical lineups that were already submitted, or will we see a Mauga? Okay, production, can we just quit this game? I don't like Mauga. I'm not commentating. Mauga, please. Reno, I beg.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh no!
Is Mauga the new meta? I've seen conversations about how he's very strong.
Yeah, we did have Ram nerfs. I think we also had we just had another, a set of tank nerfs, but we do have Sim, Kiriko, Lucio, and Mauga from both teams. The only change up here is DBRX is going to go into Tracer, Wybrunnen on the Venture, and then Note on Soj and Tom Mikita on the Reaper as the fight begins on this initial high ground.
Yeah, and we're seeing both teams sort of matching each other on this high ground and playing a bit of merry-go-round as they walk around. Both are scared to make that first initial engage, but budget approved run very quickly in there as Reno sprints in, but he falls early, and that is both Maugas down as Leaky and Note are able to pick up a piece each, but it's Shark that finds his opposite number. Equal numbers both sides, but Wybrunnen trying to go deep. I think that is 2 alive for both, as Lampy is able to take down Octo, and the first camp goes to budget approved.
Yeah, Lampy though, gonna get revenge kill by DBRX, literally back and forth, blow for blow, already really good progression coming in from budget approved, but they do need to get back to stall out this EMC. They're not, they let the flip happen. Both Maugas just now gonna look at each other for a solid 5 seconds before Reno runs out of there, and the fight resets, coming into another pretty ultless fight.
Yeah, gotta say, a bit of a sloppy play there, letting the flip happen, but Chimera are now in charge of it. Ekash having to back out to get some support, but his health goes up very quickly with Shark's Kiri staring straight at him. Reno sprints in, but is knocked over by Ekash. Octo takes down Ronan. Note is able to find Ekash as a perfectly placed Suzu keeps Reno alive, and as I say that, he falls to his death there. DBRX, though, picking up 2, looking for the third. He's trying to find the small. There, he takes down Lampy. We see this man on Lucio very often. Here, he is showing us how Tracer is done.
Yeah, I think this Tracer choice from DBRX seeming to prove and win dividends right now for EMC Chimera. They already have that kind of solid flow. They also have basically equal ult charge, but they have just taken better fights with this off angle from the Tracer. Wybrunnen does have a big ult coming in here if there's no support ults, but the engagement's going to be pretty quick. Shao with the Kitsune Rush going to go through. Will there be any sort of retaliation from budget approved? It doesn't look like it. Bronin, though, taking out Shao mid Kitsune. That is going to be pretty big for this next fight. If he can get out, he's going to get stuck, though.
He almost didn't make out, gets over the wall, but then the beat from Chimera allows them to just keep the aggression, keep walking in. Although it's Reno's Mauga ult that his cage fight just drops and completely locks Chimera in there. 2 have fallen already. No, it pops the overclock and finds Octo. They need to get this flip quickly because they're 85 on the percent board already.
Yeah, I think that's a really good fight from budget approved. Some may say investing both that cage fight and that overclock might have been a bit of an overinvestment, but realistically, it's not going to be Tectonic Shock and Kitsune against Cage Death Blossom, which is a terrifying combo when pinned together. That is a huge dive in from Reno, going to force out the immediate cleanse. Ronan is going to go with the Tectonic Shock, but Octa's going to take him out. Now they're going to be down the DPS. DBRX with a kill and a no, and this is looking perilous. Toon Mikado with the big Death Blossom as the Beyblade spins to win. This could be the map wrapped up if Budget Approved cannot get back.
Yeah, look, we're going to see Lampy absolutely flying through the sky to get back to this point now with 90% on the clock already. Although it's Note that's able to open this fight. Yeah, mate, you called it beforehand. The Cage fight and Reaper is just a deadly duo. But as I say that, Ton falls early. Budget Approved are able to get into this fight as they've already triggered OT. They're trying to stabilize. They're trying to find something, but Ton is just absolutely walking into the... Sorry, Ronan walking into the backline. Ekaj falling down on point there. And... Note was struggling there. There we have it. Budget Approved are able to flip that over.
I love the fact that Reaper throw off. Which one is it? I didn't even realize that Ronan had actually switched over onto the Reaper. So this is not going to come down to, I think, 2 fights. There's going to be a fight here. No ultimate's really going to get invested unless it's drawn out. But let's be honest, 2 Malgus. When is that ever going to happen? So there is going to be a pretty huge last hurrah for both teams, I think, coming up here. Unless Budget Approved can get a solid team fight here. If they choose their targets wisely, they might be able to break this little this Chimera attack.
Well, Chimera able to get their rush up though, and there we have it. Shark has popped it instantly, and Reno is taking all of the damage to the face, and there he falls in the corner, trying to hide for a second, not able to do it, but the beat comes out from Lampy. Is that a little too late to keep Budget Approved in that? I don't know. Note popping the OC and running straight into the back line, finds one. Is he able to find another, as we see Leaky just pumping the damage into Ekaj? Budget Approved looked like they were going to lose that when Reno fell straight away, but they were able to hold on with some impeccable ult usage.
Yeah, I think that entire situation, I was completely wrong. That Malga fight was drawn out lengths to be able to push into that huge fight. I must say, the ult management from, like, that sound barrier from Octo, I thought was going to flip that fight on its head. And then we saw Ronan build up Death Blossom, Note build up Overclock, and just the offensive pressure from Budget Approved seemed to sweep over. So they take that. It was already, though, a very close map, and I think this one's going to prove much of the same. Will it be a 2-0, though, is the real question.
Yeah, you said it there. It was very close, and it was a bit of a battle of the Malgas. But normally, when you see these Malga comps, as soon as your Malga's dead, you're out of the fight. And I think that's something that we saw Budget Approved do a little more effectively, was be able to win fights without it. As we see the crab there as we open into this map. Both teams teleporting out, changing to the Reaper or the... We're seeing the sort of switch up here with the Venture.
Yeah.
Ronan was the first to do it, but Note opens it with a kill onto Shark instantly. Budget Approved see their advantage and they try and take it. Note is able to find another one on Ekaj. He's searching for more. He wants more, but Octo is able to just fly through the skies, a little griggling out. DBRX up in the sky, almost falls there as Note just went unbelievably aggressive with his team's backing.
Yeah, I think, honestly, might need to start calling this guy Death Note, because any name he writes down is getting obliterated from Chimera. Taking both kills there and already halfway to Overclock. Only just capturing the point. Looking pretty good for an early Overclock, I would say. Leaky as well, building up a pretty good percentage on Kitsune. And it is going to be a pretty early fight on the high ground again. We do have Ronan having to kind of sweep out of there. Shaq going to use cleanse as well. Both runs in from Malgas are not going to prove efficient. And there seems to be a bit of a split personality here, like, in the fact, but no, again, taking out DBRX, going to get that kill on the low ground. Lampy is going to get caught out. This Ekaj Malga is just walking on the back line, picking up 2.
He doesn't miss. That was straight headshots as he's looking for his opposite number. The classic Malga battle where they just shoot each other. Ronan's able to take down his opposite number, and again, we're at it with these Malgas. Octo gets the final hit onto Reno. But I think that's going to be the flip there from Chimera as Budget Approved look to try and engage soft, I would say, as they walk along this top high ground. They don't want to die here. They don't want to jump in. But as soon as I say that, Lampy falls there, got a little bit aggressive maybe. Ronan uses his fade to get out. Will it be enough to get him to safety? Ever so slightly.
The chase down from DBRX is on, and he casually get the final hit. Is a really good stagger again. That's 2 big staggers actually coming in from Chimera. So that actually just might push the point 30% realistically by the time they actually get a good re-engagement from Budget Approved. And looking at the economy, we're going to have an absolute massacre on our hands. We have 4 ults coming in from EMC Chimera, and this is the continued rush coming in from both of them. There could be a sound barrier from Octo and a tectonic shock from DBRX coming in, but eCash is the one picking up every kill almost.
Yeah, the eCash's aim here really needs to be studied because it is constant headshots. I know Mauga gets the crit when he's shooting someone on fire, but he is specifically hitting people's heads consistently. It is very impressive. Both teams having some stellar shows here as EMC Chimera trying to hold on here to take this to a 1-1. Will Budget Approved be able to get into this fight now?
Find out next time on
cut to ads.
Twitch channel. No, do not cut to ads because we have a big fight coming in. Budget Approved do have 4 ults, and one of them is a critical support ult that EMC Chimera do not have available right now. The cage is going to go in for Mikash. Ronan, though, using that pulse, but gets shut down. Completely ineffective against the walls of the cage. DBRX is going to cut down short, but is going to survive. No, going to get tackled down by eCash. What a kill from eCash. The positioning from him and DBRX with the backing of Sha and Octo really seemed to prove up big for that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're seeing it now where Chimera are absolutely sprinting in. Sharks there with DBRX just going so aggressive. And that's what we've seen. So effectively, as Ton drops the early Death Blossom, able to pick up Leaky, but Shark falls to Ronan. The cage fight is out for Reno, which means he won't be able to get to point, but he is able to take down eCaj. It's gone to 99% here, but will Ronan be able to hold on to point? I think that will be all she wrote, and we're going to the third point.
That one honestly seemed to be a much more dominant EMC Chimera demonstration. They really kind of got their own kind of morals and gear. I think they really switched on. Not gonna lie, Budget Approved did seem to have a really strong first initial impression for that point, but they didn't even get the chance to retake. Their management, I think, on ults were a little bit different from last time, and EMC just shut them down much faster than before. This map, though, is going to be the tiebreaker, and I must say, with no Baptiste on this map, this one might turn out a bit different from how I usually see it.
Is there something to be said in the fact that both teams that have run the venture have won their points so far? It's been a really effective pick so far. It's less good on this point with how open it is, but we'll see what people. So Ronan's gone for the Tracer as DBRX opting to stay with the venture here. 2 completely different methodologies. We're seeing Budget Approved going to point as Chimera are looking to take this right side, you know, the high ground almost as you just look down. But eCaj, seeing that Note is out of position, trying to sprint in there, but he is the one that gets punished. As I say that, though, Shark gets a perfect Suzu, able to keep eCaj up for a second, but it falls in the process. Without your carrier alive, you are never going to be able to sustain as Mauga. Ton is able to take down Note. I don't think it will really be enough to count as a stagger, as the point hasn't been capped yet. But I'll tell you what, DBR is holding on as long as he can. I, to be honest, feel like he has staggered himself a little bit there.
Well, it's a team fight situation that they lost a lot of their players early on, so allowing them to maybe play a little bit farther forward anyway. Not going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things, but potentially a really interesting fight coming in because Ronan already has Pulse Bomb. Like, it is a very quick build-up for that ultimate, even though it is the literal highest generation percentage in the game. DBRX is also now taking that mirror on the Tracer as EMC are just going to walk top left, drop down on the point. Ronan going to drop critical, forced to recall. Octo getting pressured hard though. And the fight is kind of torn. Every aspect. Ton taking the kill onto Ronan. There is going to be a really big force now pushing forward for Chimera. But it's kind of going back and forth. The trades, Leaky and Ton both going to drop. Sha going to take out Lampy. The fight is just so dismembered right now. No taking another. Reno going to clean up Sha, and it's only DBRX left. I'm actually really shocked. Budget Approved have held that so well.
Yeah, I mean, props to Note there. He's just stayed on that little high ground, you know, up that staircase, and did not die. He was able to pick up 2 railgun kills and keep up the numbers, but eCaj changing off the Mauga. Thank you, Lord. We're seeing some differences here.
Right, okay, well, no need to get so critical about seeing the same tank on both teams, but D.Va is a menace for eating absolutely anything you can throw this way, and Ton also on the cast off of the Reaper, so maybe trying to shut down this Ronan Tracer a little bit more. There is going to be a huge ult advantage for Budget Approved, though, even though they have no switches. There goes the Pulse Bomb in. Note is going to take out Octo, though, before he can get Sound Barrier. I think that's just going to be a full weep. Budget approved to just dismantle the EMC Chimera this map.
Yeah, absolute clinical from Budget approved there. Will anyone be able to touch? Tom was alive for a second there, but no.
He catched him first.
Just unbelievable. He catched two running in. Oh! No! 20 overclock, taking down any chance of a touch there from DBRX as Budget approved take map 1.
That was actually kind of disgusting. That was kind of ridiculous. And Ronan actually going to pick up play of the game with the Reaper, so this is probably going to be the Death Blossom Cage combination that we saw before. Gets the kill on the Shay, and yeah, here we go. Sound barrier, not a problem. It's not the Cage, but it is a container rush. My word. Honestly, a very good map. Also, don't mind. This is totally not going to be a recurring theme throughout the course of the stream, so ignore me. But we do have a pretty filthy game 1. I think both teams really back and forth. Budget approved are going to take it, and I think overall that is going to show a really good standard for what pacing we're going to see going into map 2. Both teams, obviously, EMC Chimera don't really have an awful lot of switches. Budget approved do. Do you really think we're going to see them, or do you think we're going to see the same lineups? I'm not too sure.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the same lineups, right? You want to be able to build into a game. So I've always had the mindset of never make subs after map 1. You want to be able to give your players time to warm up and settle into a game. One thing I do want to talk about, well, two things, but I'll get to the hat. The first thing is the Mauga Reaper combo we saw. Typically, as you mentioned, you use the Cage Fight and use the Reaper all at the same time, and it is an absolute team wipe. We saw it once there. Only once. We saw Mauga Reaper on 3 separate points, and only once did the teams synergize that. I'm thinking of the second point there, the beach point.
Yep.
It almost seemed like Budget Approved were caught off guard by Ekaj's early Cage Fight. Reno then trying to back up with the Reaper. Oh, he falls to that. You want to be playing quite aggressively with that ult combo, and neither team really did. So I'm thinking maybe that's something we would see play out a bit differently. But we are moving to Havana. Thank you for showing off the beautiful hat. But yeah, we're moving over to Havana here, which typically we're going to see a little bit of poke. Now, if the teams decide to not be as boring as the teams we watched last week.
Whoa. Don't slander their name. That was honestly
I'd like to see some Widow. I'd like to see some Zenyatta.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I did forget about that. The fact that you said both and then both were banned. Yeah. Quick. You can ask about the hat, but I'll just answer. If anyone doesn't see, I will maybe demonstrate it whenever we're back around the cams next. But I'm basically just I'm just gonna change up hats, and everyone can try and keep count of how many hats I have put on or not put on by the end of the stream. There is a limited number, I will say, but it's just a little fun minigame at home. I just thought I'd come out a bit bejeweled, well, not bejeweled, but a bit stoked, looking smart and professional, and then randomly put on a hat or two over my headset, because that's what professionalism stands for. So we are gonna see I think a pretty good map for both teams here again, because we do see obviously Ekaj Winston I think usually goes very well. This EMC Chimera team, I think their dive combination is very strong, and it will prove okay. One ban, it's not as bad. Don't panic, it's just Widow.
Widowmaker's gone. That does mean Zen is still in play. So on the other side, Budget Approved have banned D.Va. So they've gone for tanks on both maps here. I do personally feel like a tank ban is the one that dictates a meta the most, because every meta we talk about, you always say the tank first, right? So Double Shield, you're talking about the tanks. Goats, you're mainly talking about the tanks. Here we're seeing the D.Va ban. Now maybe they were banning D.Va in hopes that they'd be able to use the Widowmaker uncontested. Maybe they're doing it purely to play the Winston, and they don't want to have to run it into a D.Va.
See, necessarily, I would agree with that, but then we did see Reno as the ball as his preferred character, so
That is
Maybe
very true.
we see Wrecking Ball against Winston Dive. Like, it's just a hypothetical. The other thing here as well is Lampy's Baptiste is now awoke. It is free and let loose, so potentially we will see that. But who knows? I think for EMC, they might have a very good starter here, just because Tawn on any like Reaper or even just playing any sort of poke character potentially. DBRX is flexible with his choices. Ekash tank variation as well is just he's obviously just a renowned expert of the game. And then Shark, apologies for saying Sha or Shaq the entire time, we were unaware. And then Octo as well. I do believe we don't have any other changes like in general. So both teams should be starting out on the two teams that we saw last map. It is just a question, though, of will Budget Approved be able to hold this 1-0 lead and continue it? Or will EMC Chimera fight back and then tie up the series 1-1? I'm going to say this now. I do think EMC might peak over Budget Approved for this map. If I'm wrong, sue me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I do want to quickly talk about that last map before we get in here. I'm really impressed by some of the performances, namely the person who copied my name almost exactly, DBRX. He'll hate that I said that. DBRX coming out on the DPS there, playing the Tracer, playing the Venture. I know they weren't able to take that first map, but I was really impressed by it. We've only typically seen him in the main support position, in the Lucio. We saw a bit of Juno during the Juno Brig era, but typically we've seen him running main support, and to come out on a Tracer there and be able to go up, head to head with Ronan, who a lot of people consider one of the best Tracers in this pool of players. Very impressive there. But Budget Approved were able to take it, so maybe not all she sang, but I was really impressed.
Yep, and here we go. We'll see the line. What on earth? Okay. EMC, if this is what you're running out on, I am really worried for what I just said. I'm gonna almost guarantee it is not. But we do see that duplication of DPS from last game for Budget Approved. We have Sojourn from Mr. Death Note himself and Mr. Ronan back on Tracer. But as I said, Wrecking Ball is the choice of character for Reno, and then Lampy not on Baptiste, but on Zenyatta, while Leaky takes on Baptiste. And then EMC Chimera running out on Bap Brig for Shark and Octo. Tawn opting for the Cass pairing with DBRX's Sojourn, no longer a Hanzo. A Tracer, Anna, okay, it's just Dive again, but it's not Winston, like I supposed. So, Doomfist with Tracer Dive on Havana against Wrecking Ball Zen.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be one or the other, really.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty wild.
Now we're seeing Ronan go, Reno go aggressive there, but he gets caught by the sleep by the Shark. Ronan is able to take down Todd, takes down 2, looking for a third. Can he get it? He's playing a bit safe there. As the Chimera having to run back to spawn.
Oh no, the slop, it's taken over Ronan. He's just popped off. He's killed everyone after hearing the slop is out. I was so stupid. Sorry. Reno gonna be contesting. I'm gonna lose it for the next 5 minutes.
Reno contesting the point here. He's contesting the point on ball. He's running it. Look, this is something we see a lot on Havana. You try and play very aggressive in this front tunnel because people are having to walk straight into you, and look, stuff like Note up on this high ground is just able to pump damage as he's looking to dodge, but it's the backline battle that we're watching here as Lampy tries to hold off DBRX. Lampy has played Zen for years, for as long as I've known him. Ekash now with the punch, though. He's looking to go aggressive with it. He's not able to. He takes a little bit too much damage and had to jump out. He's looking to punch Reno into the back. Reno goes incredibly low, not able to get that much from his shields, but it's Tawn that takes down Ronan as Ekash finds Note jumping in. He has the punch. Charged up again, looking for the backline punches and not able to get it. And it's taken down by Leaky, the backline, the greedy backline of Baptiste Zen, able to just poke him out as he runs in there.
That jump from Leaky genuinely felt like he just became Neo out of the Matrix. Absolutely weaving over the punch from Ekash. He is going to be able to get back very quickly, but we do have a Transcendence. We have literally every ult coming online. We have 3 for Chimera, but now going to go down to 2. Tawn taken out early, no sign or line of sight. And Note is going to finish up Ekash as well, as is he's going to finish off Octo. and a really nasty stagger on the Shark as well to ramp it up. Really good team fight there for Budget Approved.
Oh no.
DBRX is also getting ratted out.
Yeah, DBRX found the corner. He drops Pulse Bomb to try and get himself out alive there. He's still in there, but no, finds him as they leave. Down to a minute 40 on the clock. That is a stagger you do not want to be giving up for Chimera.
Especially investing one ult into that, it is Pulse Bomb. It's not going to make much of a difference, especially into a composition that now has Immortality and a Immortal zone.
Look at those 5 ults waiting to be used by Budget Approved. A stronger
it's a good minefield.
The minefield and the stick there from Ronan as he takes down Octo. Chimera are stuck in the corner and they cannot do anything about it.
Yeah, they can shoot out those mines if they so wish, but Ton is going to get froze down in the spot. Oh gosh! Tries to punch Ronan. It's the old bait and switch, or I think it's more like the bait and then punching directly into a minefield. Maybe not opting. That's maybe not a good strategy. Kids, do not try that at home.
Now, 3 ults apiece for both teams here, as Ekaj can go incredibly aggressive with his yeah, there we have it. The Meteor Strike comes out. Ton finds Note, though. The Freya is so aggressive on this map. He's looking for the backline, but Shark is the one who gets the kill onto Ronan. Maybe Ronan went a little bit too aggressive here. Lampy opting to use his Transcendence to stall for a second. He comes, touches the point, runs away, but he's caught with the punch. The Immortality is just a little bit too late to keep Lampy alive, and Leaky is having to run for his life. Ekaz ever so close to getting that punch charged up as he's looking to just punch Budget Approved off the point when they try and walk back in here, hiding on the high ground. But no opening what a great kill shot onto DBRX. The window out for Leaky, but he falls while trying to stand behind it. No, trying to control the high ground, but it is Ton takes him down. Reno holding on for dear life, trying to stall out. Ronan able to take down Shark, maybe thinking...
On the pulse!
No! He gets one! He's looking for another! There's only one person left, 2 as DBRX comes back online. Ronan trying to hold on to this point as long as he can. Can he keep it going? He falls, but Reno is there to keep it alive as No takes down Ton. They're looking to hold on to it. Lampy takes down Ekaj, the Zenyatta of death, as only DBRX is able to hold on to that, and Budget Approved as he takes down Shark, able to hold down with what, 0.2 meters? Or 2 meters, sorry?
Yeah, I'm in absolute astonishment. Ronan clutching up like an absolute badass, killing both supports. That was filthy, by the way, because from my point of view, Budget Approved were using, they actually just coordinated between teams, saying low tier feed.
Yeah.
I don't want to acknowledge that, but I did. They used so many resources, ults when I didn't think they had to, like Transcendence to stall when both DPS were dead, thinking, is that a lost resource? Leaky then not getting Immor out in time? Is that another? But even so, whenever it became a 2v2 ult fight, it just seemed to fall so well in Budget Approved. And I think that is really kind of falling down to Ronan and Note getting some really clinical kills, and I think the entirety of the team supporting. Chimera, though, I don't think they're going to give up so easy. They are going to run a very different comp on this defense, potentially to try and stop this Reno Wrecking Ball, with Note actually taking on the Freya.
I mentioned it before the map. Ronan is widely considered one of the best tracers EU at the moment, and we saw it there. Holding on to what we both considered was a lost fight. I mean, that is what we see, teamwork and trust there. Budget Approved input, using their ults, knowing that, okay, they're going to get back in. But Ekaj going incredibly aggressive, able to catch Reno with the rock as he rolls out as spawn. They've gone for the old school spawn hold, not opting for the Rhine May, but instead the Sigma Baf Lucio. They're trying, they hold on there and they slow it down. But the wall coming out from Reno just completely splitting up Chimera as Ronan is able to take down Ton. No, able to find Octo. I think that will be it for the forward spawn hold, but I'll tell you what, Ekaj holding on here. Look, that's what you want from your spawn hold, right? You're not expecting to win the map there. You're expecting to maybe win a fight, take a little bit of time off the clock, and then you get back in. You do have to forfeit a bit of the positioning, but I liked the idea.
Oh, and now that Reno swaps off that Wrecking Ball onto this entire environmental hazard of warning, we do have a different hazard warning in the form of a Trojan horse riding on down the midfield. We have Orisa for the first time in this series, and Octo is taken out really early. Ronan is seriously picking up some incredible value in these backlines. He does have post bomb. It's going to be forced to recall. Imar is out though, and it's just going to collapse. Everyone is dying to the DPS of Budget Approved. This is insane combination from the two of them. DBRX is going to actually get a kill onto Note. That might help up if they do get the recontest here, considering Budget Approved are almost going to be able to get this just with all three of them sat on cards.
Well, I think Budget Approved are expecting a recontest. They're not sitting the 3-arm card. They're setting up ready as Ekaj walks out, able to hit a nice spear there onto Reno, just forcing off point. But going down to 4 meters here, DBRX is forced to have to jump onto point. The Immortality is out early and Shark falls because of it. The Bolo coming out from Note, and it catches Octo on point. That is going to be it. Map 2 is going to go the way of Budget Approved as only Ton is alive, and he is not going to be able to touch the point.
I am in, like, disarray, potentially.
Have you left? Have you walked away in disbelief?
I literally had to take a second.
Yeah, I mean, that was unbelievable. Look, let's look at this play of the game. It's going to be, it's not him holding down, it's finding a post bomb.
Oh no, Ekaj!
And then baiting the punch.
Ekaj! What trying to do? Okay, it's fine. We're fine.
Oh, that's why you had to run away. Okay, okay.
No, what are you saying? Anyway, Note and Ronin might just be, and I will say this hands down, the most destructive pair of DPS players I have ever seen on console. I think, I know Ronin, I did not know Note, I now understand his game. This has been like a flurry of kills between the two of them in the back lines and in the front lines. Their accuracy is just astounding. And Chimera, even though they had a good starting, they just could not get that positioning back up to speed. And being down 2-0, a reverse sweep is on the table of plausibilities. But is it plausible enough? I don't necessarily know. Suravasa is going to be our next map after our few-minute break, but Flashpoint, it is very chaotic, I think, safe to assume.
No, and we saw Reno playing the ball there, and we can definitely say the ball is rolling for Budget Approved right now as they look to take this 3-0. I was truly expecting it to be closer. I wasn't expecting it to go to 2-0 at all at any point. But yeah, like I said, we're going to go to a quick break. But please do not leave us. We are fighting tooth and nail here as Budget Approved might be able to take this 3-0.
Which could be a major upset, but we will see you guys after the break, so stay tuned as you get to see more crazy highlights, amazing plays, and more importantly, very stylish hats. We'll see you guys after.
Welcome back to round 4 of the DYS League. We are here watching Budget Approved go head to head with EMC Chimera. We are currently 2-0 Budget Approved. I was expecting a close game than currently, but what am I seeing here? I have seen this the same time as viewers. You've absolutely thrown me off my role there. As
What's
you
wrong?
definitely cannot see anything. We're currently 2-0 up, Budget Approved, as they are looking to tie it up 3-0. Or Chimera are looking to make the reverse comeback. I think stream is seeing a lovely close-up of your face, which you have no idea they can see right now.
I could do this. I could, like, technically, but no. What's wrong? Sorry, is there something? I don't know. Anyway, I know we had a really good initial first batch of 2 maps there. I think for Budget Approved, they are seriously proving big time on every sort of scale. They have the really solid coordination, taking team fights, getting good staggers, really good engagements and disengagements when needed. They have been proving the better team, I think, overall, but that is not to say EMC Chimera are going to go down without a fight. They are down 2-0. So a reverse sweep, as I said, is in the books. Is it going to get put forward as what will happen in this best of 5? We have no idea. I'm just a silly boy ready to get into some more silly games.
Your ability to hold that together so well, it needs to be studied, but I'm impressed. Yeah, Suravasa is where EMC are going to look to... Suravasa is where Chimera are going to look to start their springboard of a reverse sweep here. All Budget Approved are going to tie it up 3-0 and go the only team still unbeaten, top of the leaderboard. So yeah, we'll see what happens here, as I think both teams are looking to ban some characters. I gotta say, I'm heartbroken that Widowmaker was banned, but I am over the moon that we saw some Zenyatta, as Sojourn and Lucio are what we're seeing banned here.
Yes, totally. We are seeing that in real time. And it is going to be a case of these 2 characters really define both teams. Sojourn, from note, really defining their entire DPS line, I feel. Obviously, alongside with that Freya that we saw on last map. However, Lucio from Octo, primarily for Chimera, is going to prove their main ability to get in and out of fights. So that actually might mean that fights are taken maybe slightly slower this time around, or will we see a combination of just dive again? Realistically, it could just be the same comps as last round, because the bans really don't impact those much. This is the first time, though, we are also seeing no tank bans. So we have every tank available going forward. So again, weirdly enough, no Ramattra so far, but obviously the nerfs have impacted him a lot. We could see a little bit more of the vast selection we've seen so far. Or will we see a Reinhardt?
Yeah, well, we're probably not going to see much brawl here on the basis that Lucio has been subbed out. And with Lucio being subbed out, Budget Approved have opted to making a lineup change. So they've brought Ravenge in for Leaky. So Ravenge looking here like he wants to play the Brig. So, you know, Budget Approved prepping themselves to play a little bit of a slower comp, you would imagine. Ravenge is a bit of an all-rounder. We've seen him on a lot of different characters. Obviously, got to shout out my co-owner, Ravenge, obviously the co-owner of Dystopia, jumping in to play here. But yeah, so we're expecting a slower comp from Budget Approved. Maybe, you know, with Lucio being banned, maybe Chimera are going to have to change up the way they were approaching it. Octo has been very impressive on that, Lucio.
Yeah, like Sound Barriers are saving so many fights, which I suspect, and I will say this now, that we are just going to see Brig carry from both teams. I think it is a staple of Flashpoint. If you do not want to run that speed, you're just wanting to sacrifice it for much more appealing aspects. So I think we'll see some of the same sort of fights taken, but just in a little bit of different ways. I think Budget Approved, if they are going to play Ravenge, making his debut in this series, he's going to probably have to make a decent name supporting that Lampy backline with his fellow support. So who knows? We will see, as we also see Chimera's double Lucio comp. Holy crap! Even when he's banned,
Yeah, so I think
But
I
yeah,
talked about it earlier. DBRX normally being a main sport player, so him and Shark, they're not swapping. No one's going onto the bench, but him and Shark are swapping roles. DBRX going over to Lucio, so we'll see this little battle here. Obviously, Lucio's banned, so what will be coming out? I mentioned it earlier. DBRX on the Juno, and there we have seen it with Octo going for the Brigitte. And Budget Approved going for the exact same. Now, this is something I was expecting to see more of. We are on the most recent patch. So Queen has the new perk, the Unstoppable perk. I was expected to see more Queen. Reno bringing it out here the first time in the third map, going up against Ekaj, Mauga, which I think is the only character that can stop Queen's ultimate.
correct. His charge down is the only thing that can collide like a freight train ramming directly into a freight train that's spinning at 1,000,000 miles an hour with a battle axe in her hands.
Yeah,
So
an unmovable object and an unstoppable force.
Yeah, literally exactly that. We do also have Echo coming out from Shark, and No actually taking on the Cassidy. How many Galactic Guns can one man have? It is not enough. That's a really good run-in from Ekash, but the support is going to come out huge from Ravage, and he is going to get taken down. There is going to be a push in from Tom, but is he going to be able to get the kill? Barely. He is. Oh my word, he gets both supports. That is huge double kill. Ronan is going to get taken out by Octo, and he's going to get... What is going on? Octo and Ton taking out the majority.
Yeah, what a scrappy fight from both teams there. Ekaj looking to open the fight early, jumps in, looks like he's going to get 2 kills, but then dies himself. And then it's Chimera almost, Ton looked like he was feeding, gets 2 all of a sudden. Reno then looking like he's going to open up the fight completely, but then dies as he goes on to point. Chimera, in the end, are the ones able to hold on to the point here, as Ronan just looks to, do a little bit of tickling as he runs around the outside, pressuring a tiny bit. But is that Ekaj out of position, I suppose, as Reno looks to just run into the backline, but it's Ton that takes down Ronan.
Again, another really good early kill coming in from Ton Mikida, and to be honest, he is proving up to get most of the final blows and is going to get finished off by Note, so it is going to be a 4v4 here. Note does have the High Noon on standby. Shark, though, does have... Oh my word, hold on! The Juno double kill coming out from Ravage is an insane sentence, and they are going to get the flip with no use of any ults in that fight, which I'm actually surprised by.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a hard point to walk into, especially when you're walking in something like a Mauga, right? The Mauga is able to just stand inside in safety, and is that Reno going for a very aggressive knife as he walks out here? Just does not want to give Chimera any space at all. The early speedrun from DBRX, they want to capitalize on Reno's aggressiveness. As Ekaj just drops down, he wants to let everyone know he's there, and Shark is going for the copy. Onto this man has played all 3 roles as of right now. The Noon comes out from Note. He's trying to find one. He almost able to get the Juno DBRX, but Ton is able to take down Rav. Note's able to get one, but falls instantly. Reno takes down Ton in the process. Very scrappy once again. Both teams just looking to hold on to any scraps in these fights. Oh, I think maybe I've lost Keo there as he sounds a bit like a robot. But yes, Ronan is looking to take down Shark. Lampy finally punches him, and I think I just heard a lowly help from Keo there. But Ekaj is running into point. He's trying to hold on to it for Chimera. So much is happening on the screen right now. I can't really commentate properly. Reno looks to put the Queen ult in, but it just absolutely faded past by Ton as Rav's... No, that is not the Lunar Ray that I'm looking at. It was DBRX's Lunar Ray, as Budget Approved hold on to that.
Okay, everything went skew-whiff. My internet decided to die, and then everyone else decided to die, and DB lost track. I don't know why it decides to kick in, but I might be okay. I'm hoping I'm okay. If not, I will just scream for more help, and hopefully help will come. We do have... This is potentially the most interesting swap I have ever seen, going from Echo to Genji for Shark, potentially trying to pressure this backline a little bit more impressively. Raises is going to be a big Galactic Ray down from Ravage, as we do see the rally from Octo. DBRX and Ton both going to drop critical here. Neither of them going to get finished off for now, but No is going to get the kill, and Ronan going to get taken out by the charge. Reno is just stuck against the side of the cage, and I do believe this should be Chimera's fight to take. No, with a lovely kind of combination of shots on the Shark. But EMC Chimera are going to get that point eventually. They do have to use 3 ults for it, though, which is, or 2, sorry.
Yeah, I think definitely worthwhile ults, though. You know, catching Reno with the cage fight just absolutely obliterates that Queen. And we've got to expect by this point in the game, there's going to be perks online. Queen is going to be unstoppable by now. So, you know, if you're Chimera, you're thinking we need to end this fight before that Queen ult is up. They know it's going to be coming soon-ish, but Reno's on the 60% mark. As budget-approved walk-in, Ronan's able to take down Shark, and Ekaj falls as well. It is the Kitsune rush out from Lampy that it was able to open that fight up there. As Lampy takes down 2 of his own, Ravage getting the punch to the opposite number of DBRX there. Budget-approved finally able to swap that point over and looking to take this to a 2-0.
Yeah, I must say, I think even though, like, budget approved, proving to get that point really well, kind of on a budget, haha, ironic. Well, no, they're lying, because they used 3 ults for that fight. They used absolutely every resource they had as an ultimate economy advantage. Now they're really just going to be looking to take the next fight off of just Reno, most likely, or just, obviously, the pure unrivaled gameplay of every member. EMC Chimera, though, are going to walk in a little bit hard here. Shark is going to get focused on Ronan on 1 HP with a big anti coming in from the ult, and it is just going to tear everyone to pieces. It seems that they could play off the back of Reno, as everyone from Chimera going to get swept off their feet.
Yeah, what you said it perfectly there. What a sweep up from budget approved. Both teams clashing. You know, Ronan going down to 1 HP, but then as soon as budget approved see that opening, they jump straight on top of it and they sweep Chimera. 95% on this point. It ticks very quickly, but Ekaj is able to jump in there. He's had to use every ability to get to this point already. Ronan taking down DBRX, as Ravage is also able to take down Ekaj. Ton getting 2 kills there, looking for a 3rd. He's playing this high ground, not able to do that. 2-0 on this point right now for budget approved, as Shark falls a little bit late there.
Yep, and if there's a favorite saying of mine, I'm going to say it again. Reverse sweep is on the table. I know it's looking dire for EMC Chimera, but they do have 2 very big ults, and to be honest, their gameplay and skill are very, very, well, they're to a high caliber indeed. So we will see a Dragon Blade rally combination coming out from them. We do have both support ults and a high noon coming up close for budget approved with a pulse bomb from Ronan. So if Chimera time this aggressive push right and early enough, they might be able to push through, but Lampy gonna get an early kill onto Ton. There is just going to be an aggressive play here, but is it going to get anything worthwhile? It is going to get Note, and it's going to get Ravage. Ekash finishing both off. The post bomb dropping onto Shark. Octo with a great play to escape it, but then dropping it onto his teammate accidentally is going to be able to kill Lampy in the backline. Octo acting like a DPS right now is going to get killed off by Ronan. The fight is still scrappy as anything. Ronan, though, is cleaning up everyone again and again. And Ravage is going to help take out Ekaj. This fight is still going, and I think I might lose breath.
Yeah, the point goes over to Chimera there, but as you said, Ronan was just controlling that high ground so aggressively, and Note walking in, doing what Note does, and taking 2 down instantly. Now, both teams, you said earlier, very high caliber, but incredibly scrappy fights from both. I'm not going to call him that. Incredibly scrappy fights here. I have to say it. Some of the ult usage, I've got to say, has been a bit questionable, but Lampy looking to open the fight early again. He's trying to find it. Maybe he's had a bit of the commentator curse there. Every other fight, he's opened it perfectly. He was struggling on there as the stick comes out, but almost took down himself there, Ronan, walking in. No, taking down his opposite number, and budget approved. Look how aggressively they're positioned, as they're just trying to absolutely shut the door on Chimera.
This sort of stance is absolutely insane for budget approved. They just look Chimera dead in the eyes and say, we are not going to let you walk. We are going to shut you down, erupt from beneath the surface as the JQ is going to emerge with the Tracer in the backline. It's going to kill 3 with this ult. The Terror Surge from Ekash is not enough.
Look at that tick damage
from Ravage to finish it. Wait, hold on a second. Shark, reverse sweep right now. The point might actually it's not going to get flipped.
Shark 1v5. No, takes him down. Look, I think that is going to be it. No one's going to be able to get to the point there. That is wow. That is another 3-0 there. I got to be honest, didn't feel like a 3-0 again.
Seriously, I feel like having 3 O's is something of like, you're never expecting it. but it just happens.
Yep. Yep. I mean, that map was a lot more scrappy, and to be honest, even that map didn't feel as much like a 3-0 as it did within the map. You know what I mean? That last point was very, very aggressive for Budget Approved, as they just absolutely shut the door on Chimera, did not let them walk in one bit. As you've swapped back to a better hat, as Stream will see in a second. But yeah, very strong performance from Budget Approved there. They've shown why they deserve to be top of the table. That has cemented them. That has put them straight up there.
Yep, 3-0, 3 clean sweeps, I believe. Like, they just show why they are opting to be the strongest sort of team that we have available right now. They have proved themselves time and time again, and time again was today as well, as a 3-0. Again, weirdly enough, I will say, just like last week, we had one map start out 2-1, very kind of close, back and forth. Second map, it started to kind of build, but it was shut down a little bit, just continued to roll over for the winning team. And then last, there was a very dominant showing. And this was the exact same way, but I would have said the teams are they are so different from one another.
Yep.
And yet the same timeline traversed through both. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting there. Now, I massively enjoyed that, and I want to find out some thoughts from. There's a certain person in there, there was a certain play at the end of Havana that made me think, what are you doing? And I want to have a chat with Leaky. I want to see what his thoughts were during that play. So we're going to take a little break right now to set that up, but please stick around. We're going to have Leaky on the stream in a few moments to talk us through what just happened there and how Budget Approved are continuing to be completely unbeaten. They have not dropped a single map. So stick with us. We will not be too long, I promise.
He's lying. Welcome back, everybody. We are joined by a very special guest, obviously, from that best of 5 we saw go down between Budget Approved and EMC Chimera. We have one of the support players for Budget Approved joining us. We have Leaky. How you feel, man?
I'm feeling amazing.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I'm feeling amazing. My fault.
You're good. And there's a tiny little bit of delay, so we'll deal with it. I promise. Yeah, mate. I can only imagine how good you are feeling right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing after getting this win, and also knowing that Budget Approved is fully back and ready to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you took a decent amount of time off there, didn't you? But yeah, it's good to see you
Yeah.
guys back in ready to play. Just so you are aware, you are now top of the league.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think he was aware. Yes. And I will say there is a few teams that have already played 4 games. You guys have only played 3 and you're already top of the table. So I think that's a pretty good standing going forward into your next match, which will obviously be round 5 next week. But I think for me personally, obviously I've known you for a very long time, and it's lovely to get to see you play again. My question primarily for you is, with Budget approved as kind of a collective team, they are a very powerful unit. Um, how do you feel playing with everyone on the team? Like, is there anyone that really kind of amps you up, or how's the sort of tone, the sort of pace and atmosphere within the team whenever you guys are playing?
the atmosphere is very good. What we do before any game or any map that we're gonna play, we usually try and make as many jokes or talk about any memes that we've seen online, and they just try and keep
It's
our
good, man.
spirits alive. Just just keep it up and all that stuff. And when it comes to really playing with anybody on the team, I think probably my favorite person to play with on the team has to either be Ronan or Reno, just because I kind of played a little bit before with them on a different team called Abyss. We played in CC and kind of built a little bit chemistry there. And yeah,
I know. I think especially kind of demonstrated off like Reno, and I will give a quick shout out. Happy birthday to him, my twin brother in birthdays as of yesterday. So congratulations for getting a year older and still not being washed. But yeah, I will ask as well. With Note, is Note a new player? Because Note today with Ronan on that DPS line proved so amazing for you guys. How do you feel about how your team performed today as a whole?
yeah, Note's a new player, and as of today, I feel like we performed quite well. We have scrimmed a lot. We have played ranked together a lot. Like we've kind of kept our pace up, keeping it to trying to keep the pace up from what we had last season of when we last played.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels amazing seeing now that obviously we didn't have Delta here right now, so we didn't have him as the OG DPS duo of Delta and Ronan. So instead we have Note, and it didn't feel like any difference. He plays the same hero pool as Delta, so it feels great.
Yeah, I mean, Note was definitely a standout performer for me there. He seemed so comfortable in that sojourn and slotted in really well with the team chemistry. You wouldn't have, you know, like you said, there, Delta normally picking up the sojourn for you guys. I wouldn't have said that he was looking out of place in any way. Your synergy really impressed me. Specifically, your synergy going into that last fight on Havana. You know, there was a moment there where it looked like it was completely down and out. You guys were gone. You pop the window and Ronan's able to keep hold of it. Talk me through sort of what your thinking was there, what the emotions were like in VC, and you know, how did it feel to be able to hold on to that map?
It felt great at the moment when I popped window. I didn't really I didn't really have anything less of like my play through the thing was like I didn't really have anything in mind when I really popped it. I thought it was more of an ordinary window, try and give my hit scan up an off angle or my sen, give one of them like an off angle to play on, let them deal more damage, and just kind of let them do whatever they want while we try and stall out as long as we can, get our team together and all that stuff.
Yeah, what was the VC like in that moment as Reno lands that pulse bomb and is able to just keep you guys
Ronan.
in that fight? Ronan, sorry.
Um, it was kind of like a normal comms, just yelling who we're on. He kind of just said stuck this person. We got the kill, and then we went back to go into our like normal comms, being like, yep, we're going this, we're going Doom, we're going Lucio, we're going Brig, we're going Anna. We kind of we try and keep our
cool,
comms as
collected,
professional
then.
as we can. Yeah, we try and keep them
Fair
as
play.
like we try to keep our comms as professional as we can during games, so we don't mess up anything.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you for joining us for the interview there, Leaky. Well done on getting yourselves top of the table. I'm sure we'll see some incredible performances down the line, especially with the fact that we will be streaming your game next Sunday again. It will be the budget approved versus Jaichul's Academy. So I'm really looking forward to that. But thank you for joining us here, Leaky. We'll speak to you in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job again, and we'll see you later on. Well, next week, anyway. And I think with that, that's us good to go to close out. DB, I know obviously every time that we've ran, like last week, this week, 3-0s, haven't really felt like it. What do you reckon? Next week is gonna be a big, like we kind of said, okay, last week was, every match is big. To some element, it is massive. But last week was kind of early weeks, not really sure on where the table would fall. So it was a pretty decent sized game. This game, both teams right beside each other, pretty big environment. Now that we're after the halfway mark, 3 playoffs, next week is going to be round 6, I believe, whenever that's streamed. And it is going to be top table threats now battling it out for potentially guaranteeing a top 4 spot. Any sort of predictions?
Well, look, yeah, like you said, the leaderboard's going to be more cemented by the end of next week, and we'll only have 1 or 2 games left, depending on the team, after next week's stream. So it will be, almost entirely completed by that point. In terms of prediction, I can't say I do know who it will be. I looked away from my camera for a second, and all of a sudden you've got a different hat on. Yeah, I don't really know prediction wise who it will be. One thing I do know is, sadly, you will not be joining us again, will you, Kia? This is the last stream until maybe the playoffs, depending on how our scheduling lines up.
Yeah. I think for. Yeah, unfortunately, this is like a YouTube apology sort of moment. Like, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm not gonna be there. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm taking next week. I'm doing a trip for 5 days, and then I've got a busy schedule at a Comic-Con here in Northern Ireland anyway for selling at it.
Mate, enjoy.
Oh,
but yeah,
try.
thank you for joining us for last week and this week. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone behind the scenes that's been helping out as well. Lagaleth, Kira helping out on the Observing today, but also the guys over at XYPA, Headrammer, Hippie joining us and making it all run smoothly. You might be seeing mine and Kio's faces and listen to our voices, but we are not the ones doing any of this technical stuff. We have no control over what you guys see. That is the great guys at XYBA who've been helping us out so far. So yeah, join us again next Sunday, same time, for budget approved versus Jaichul's Academy, as I've been schooled on how to say their name. Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, thank you to everyone for sticking through and joining us throughout this stream today. If anyone wants to watch the VOD back, they will all be posted on the Dystopia VODs channel over on YouTube, but that'll be linked in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, get over in there. But yeah, big thank you to everyone helping out today. That will be us signing off the round 4 game that ended 3-0. Unbelievable. Thank you, everyone.
I know. Yes. See you guys at some point, and hopefully the games to come will be just as exciting. So have a good one, guys, and I'll see you later.
Cheers.